Welcome to America's most exciting spectator sport. Skating action on the bank track featuring the Pioneers and the Jolters. And it's coming your way from the huge Oakland Coliseum Arena in Oakland, California. This is Walt Harris calling the action along with Ken Conselman. As we pick up the action here, we're in the first period of play, and the score is the Pioneers 1 and the Jolters 0. The Pioneers in the red and the blue, the Jolters in the blue and the black. And here we go with the jam. We have 8 minutes to go here in the first period of play in a championship round game. The Pioneers and the Jolters, two of the best. And the Jolters get two skaters out to start this jam. Barbara Baker on the move. With her, Pam Kneva moving on the play. The Pioneers have failed. Now the Pioneers have a jammer out on the play. Pioneers of Candy Jones moving, and she's going to go by one skater. The trip going out of the turn after whipping her teammate. So Kneva has the lead. Moving on the pack now. Joni Weston, the golden blonde, back there to block for the Pioneers, number 59. There's Kneva for the Pioneers taking an elbow block. Now grabbing the lead, Candy Jones in that block, and Kneva putting her on the rail. Candy Jones, 57, being blocked out by Jan Ballo, one of the toughest gals on skates. Jan Ballo blocking on Candy Jones now. Here comes Kneva again. Joni Weston meets her with a block. Another block by Joni Weston. Puts her on the rail. Down she goes. Ballo blocking there on Candy Jones now. Another blocking there on Candy Jones. Candy Jones still battling, trying to move in there for points. Ballo blocking. Kneva takes a block at her now. Down she goes. 2 seconds, one, and that is it. Time runs out on that jam. No score on the place. Pioneers 1 and the Jolters 0. Okay, Ken, looks like we've got quite a game shaping up in this championship round.
I think so, Walt. The Pioneers are up front. Candy Jones, I think, is going to be one of the big new additions to the Pioneers' scoring efforts this time around. I think she's an eager skater, and she wants the points. She exhibited that on that one.
Here for another jam now, ready to move out on the play. Let's see who gets out of there first. Barbara Baker, a blocker, is out in front looking for a teammate. She's got one, Rose Duran. Rose Duran is on the loose here. Number 4 moving here for the Jolters on the play. Slim gal, but a tough gal on skates. Jan Ballo up front. But the Pioneer trying to get by her. Koshu, number 55. Koshu finally gets out of there with some great skating. She has raised a nice skate. She was a natural for this game. Francine Koshu, number 5. She is tremendous out there on the bank track, but with a good lead now, Rose Duran of the Jolters. So she's got Jan Ballo to block for now. Jan Ballo, number 8, leading the charge here. Moving in on Joni Weston. Ballo with a block in there. Duran goes by for the point. More blocking in the pack. Ballo leading the charge there, and 3 more points are picked up by Rose Duran and the Jolters for a total of 4 on the play. And they jump out in front over the Pioneers 4-1 with 5:25 to go here in the first period of play. Ken, you want to call this next jam?
Okay, Walt, the Pioneers down right now on the scoreboard, but it's very early in the game, and again, this is championship competition. This is a game tonight that the Pioneers want very, very much. Bud Atkinson Sr., of course, the man that is bringing this Pioneer club together. A lot of veteran talent on the club, and Bud Atkinson Sr., the one that's going to make them work together. Jolters have Barbara Baker out on top, but little Rita Williams for the Pioneers moving out now. A jammer from each team moving away. Baker has the lead. Williams coming out of the turn now, an elbow block on the inside. Pioneers the lead jammer just briefly. Baker coming back in with a block. And the Jolters on top. Secondary jammers have also broken out. They're a long way behind. Blocking back at the rear of the pack now. Jan Ballo back there. Joan Weston back. Rita Williams first in. Jan Ballo working on Rita Williams. Rocking back with an elbow block now. Listen, half a minute in this jam. Barbara Baker, Jolter jammer, beginning to move into the picture now. Joni Weston back there for the Pioneers. Ballo has got Rita Williams tied up and puts her down on the track. Now Ballo trying to clear the way, gets her own jammer instead. Ballo going after Weston. Rita Williams hit. Down in the turn, may have a point. It's called off. And there is. 1 Pioneer point. Rita Williams did get by Jan Ballo. That makes it 4-2 now. Jolter's lead has been cut to 2 by the Pioneers. Trying to regroup the pack now. About 3 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the first period of action. Very early in the game as yet. Pioneers fighting themselves trailing here, but again, this is championship competition. Bud Atkinson Sr. on the infield. There's the new team manager for the Pioneers. On top of everything out there on the track. A lot of new plays, new combinations for the Pioneers this season. Remember, the Jolters will be the team the Pioneers are opening against, wherever you are here on the Pioneer Network. And Terry Lewis out for the Pioneers now on the inside. Rose Duran a block, and Lewis is eliminated. The Pioneers in trouble now, do not have a jammer out. Jolters, Rose Duran. The track to herself right now. But Joni Weston is going to be there to handle the Pioneers' defensive blocking. And Rose Duran beginning to move up. A little cautious. Weston set, elbow on the outside, and Duran put onto the rail. Again, the Jolters have the only jammer here, Rose Duran. Joni Weston set, elbow on the outside, and Duran is put down. Blocking of Joni Weston, and now Jan Bello is back there to assist her jammer. Weston dumps Duran again. Bello trying to yank her jammer up. About 10 seconds, all that remains here. Duran trying to move, put down again by Weston. Bello trying to get her up again, and time in this jam is running out. Weston outmaneuvering Jan Bello and putting Rose Duran down. Jolters held scoreless that time. Remains a 4-2 game, the Jolters leading.
Very good, Ken. 4-2 here. The Pioneers have signed for future delivery because her contract is running out with the Bombers. Debbie Cho. Buddy Atkins Sr., not one to stand around and rest on his laurels, is trying to strengthen the club, and Debbie Cho will be a great addition to this team. Also, there's a rumor out, Ken, could be called an ugly rumor, maybe not, but the Jolters, there is a possibility that Ann Cavello will become a coach of that Jolter club. Wouldn't that be something?
There's been talk about it, and that could be a big moral boost for the Jolters, of course, to make them a lot tougher in competition.
So here we go. Barbara Baker, Pam Kaniva on the jam for the Jolters. And they take care of Candy Jones for the Pioneers, puts her right back in the pack, and the two Jolter jammers take off on the play. So they lead 4-2, and they have only two jammers out on the play. Pam Kaniva and Barbara Baker both moving on the pack. Now Koshu gets out of that pack, but the Jolter jammers have caught the pack, and Joni Weston's going to have to slow them down until Koshu gets up there. There's her block on Baker. Here comes Kaniva to challenge. Weston with the block on her. Now Baker gets it from Joni Weston, who can take two girls on any time in blocking. She's a great one out there. Here comes Koshu now. Francine moving fast. She outmaneuvers Kaniva now. Moves on Baker. Outmaneuvers Baker. Now she's trying to score. Weston blocking Vallow. There's 1 point for Koshu, and she cuts it off. A great effort in there by Francine Koshu. Tremendous help from Joni Weston, and the Pioneers pick up a point, giving them 3 in the scoreboard to 4 for the Jolters. We have 24 seconds to go here in the first period of play. 4-3 is the score. They might get the pack organized again. Whether they'll get another jam underway or not, we don't know. If they do, they'd have a tough time scoring, although it is possible, but not at this rate. A little skate drill out there, a trainer checking the Jan Bello that she's all right. That'll use up the clock. They will not get the pack organized for the jam here in this first period. But it was a good opening period. Next we'll have the men coming on the track, and this is the big cruising Jolter club that's going to be out there against the Pioneers. Pioneers not as big physically, but they have speed to burn out there. Bob Hine, Nick Scopus and company, so it should be a great period of action with the men taking over here in the second period of play. Remember, Ronnie Robinson's out there, Scopus out there, Larry Smith. Boy, this is a great Pioneer club, but the Jolters are big physically with Cal Stevens, Jerry Cattell, JoJo Stafford and company. Well, the score here at the end of the first period is the Pioneers 3 and the Jolters 4. Okay, the referee's ready to blow his whistle and get the second period underway. This is Walt Harris and Kenny Consolman, trackside, Oakland Coliseum Arena. They're part of the great, huge sports complex in Oakland, California. Pioneers and the Jolters, and here we go. 4-3 is the score. The Pioneers trail by 1. Bob Hine, the pivot skater for the Pioneers, number 57. JoJo Stafford gets by him on the jam. Chasing them, Nick Scopus, also out on the jam. Mike Moore for the Jolters, number 4. They take care of Nick Scopus. He's going to have to start over again. The two Jolter jammers controlling things here. JoJo Stafford, number 7. Mike Moore, number 4. Nick Scopus chasing them, the great veteran star of the Pioneers. Nick Scopus, 56, trailing the two leading Jolter jammers. Well, it's Gary Lorenz in the jam. Got the wrong number out there. Gary Lorenz up there, a former amateur wrestler, moving here for the Pioneers. Very husky fellow. Joseph Stafford trying to get a shot at him. Mike Moore wants a shot at him, too. He does, and Lorenz stays on his skates. Oh, but Stafford moving in a pack. Ronnie Robinson meets him in block and puts him down. Ronnie, number 58. Mike Moore now. Stafford put Gary Lorenz down, and he is injured. The skater comes on the track. John Rice to replace. Mike Moore scoring points in there as Jerry Cattell moves out Ronnie Robinson. So it is 1 Jolter point on the play. And they lead the Pioneers now 5-3. This is a big physical club on the Jolters. Their lineup is Ted Tauscher, number 3, Mike Moore, number 4, Charlie Gibson, number 5, Robert Graves, number 6, Joe Stafford, number 7, the muscle man, Cal Stevens, number 8, Jerry Cattell, number 9, their big blonde tiger. For the Pioneers, number 50, Nick Skopas. I think he's 54 out there tonight, though. Bill Hill is 51. Larry Smith, 55. Gary Lorenz, 56. Bald Eagle Bob Hine, 57. Ronnie Robinson, 58. And John Rice, 59. Fresh jammers for their second jam here in this period. John Rice moving up, gets the whip from Bob Hine, and he's out chasing Charlie Gibson, who's out there leading the play here. Looks over his shoulder the wrong way, and Rice hits him and goes on by and leaves Gibson on the deck. John Rice with a good move on that play for the Pioneers, who trail by 2. This is the championship round game. Don't forget, we'll have an interview at the end of the half. One that you'll want to hear. These two clubs opened the season in the Midwest, the Jolters and the Pioneers. John Rice, Cal Stevens with the block in there, the big muscle man. Jerry Cattell, their big blonde tiger now. 2 of the big strong men in this Jolter lineup. Pack has come to a standstill out there, but Rice can't get up there, and he's got no help back there. Robinson and Hine, they cannot get back there to give him any help, but Cattell belts him now, puts him down. Stevens goes back and belts him, puts him down now. Stevens waiting for him to get up, hits him again, and levels him again. John Rice getting up but slower this time. And again, Stevens scores the 2 of them out there on the bank track, and that is the time runs out. The Pioneers could not get a blocker back there to help out John Rice. He was giving it everything he had, but that was not quite enough against Cal Stevens and Jerry Cattell. So the score remains at Jolters 5 and the Pioneers 3 with 7:50 to go in this period. I tell you, Kenny, it's tough when you run against Cal Stevens and Jerry Cattell.
Oh, Walt, it's got to be the biggest team in the league, and I think their brand of play is going to be defensive. They certainly tried to carry that to the Pioneers on that jam.
They hand out bruises out there, Cal Stevens and Jerry Cattell. And we're ready to go with another jam. Nick Skopas is going to jam. 54 on the outside off the whip from Ronnie Robinson. He came all the way out of there off that whip, too. Mike Moore in pursuit number 4 for the Jolters now. But Nick Skopas has the lead, and he's a tough man to beat out there on the bank track. Nick Skopas moving. Great all-star of this Pioneer club. Boy, they're loaded with talent. Buddy Atkins, a senior in the infield. There's no limit how far this club can go. Mike Moore forward, moving now on Nick Skopas. Skopas knows it, though. Blocked by Skopas. Moore stays on his skates. Ronnie Robinson lead the charge with Skopas moving on Cal Stevens. Didn't take that time. They'll try it again out of the turn and into the stretch. Into the inside of the great play, and Skopas scores and cuts off the jam. Nick Skopas and Ronnie Robinson. Great teamwork out there for the Pioneers. And sort of embarrassed big Cal Stevens, and he's telling off Ronnie Robinson right now. He didn't like to be embarrassed out there, but 2 better skaters, and they're better on skates. Maybe not stronger, but they're great out there. Pioneers 4 now, and the Jolters 5 on the scoreboard. Don't forget, you can find out about games coming up in your area simply by getting on the mailing list. And you can also get a free copy of the rules the same way. Just address mailing list or rules. Send your card or letter to Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604. Include your zip code number and the station which you're watching this program. And you'll get your free copy of the rules, or you get in the mailing list to see that advance information in the next live game in your area. And the first opening series in the Midwest is going to be this Jolter club against the Pioneers. Bill Hill on the jam, 51, moving here for the Pioneers. Jerry Cattell back to the block. Big number 9, 6'2½", 198 pounds. Joe Stafford is back there in case he needs any help. Number 7, Bill Hill trying to get by Jerry Cattell. Cattell with the knee block in there, an elbow block in there by Cattell. Bill Hill still trying though. Robinson trying to get back to give him some help, but he can't get past the blockers. And Stafford goes back with a big jump block on Hill and decks him, and that'll end that jam. Hill trying to get up, but slow, really shaken up after that block by Joe Stafford. He cuts off the jam and he collapses again on the track. Bob Hine there to check with him. Buddy Atkins, the senior, to check with him. Nick Skopas, make sure he's all right. 5-4 is the score. The Jolters still lead by 1 in this championship round game. The Jolters and the Pioneers. Again, it's getting kind of tough out there on that track.
Walt, halfway through the second period of action, and the score is only 5-4. I think that shows you how defensive this game is so far. And if the Pioneers are going to move, they're going to have to come up with a couple of big plays in here somewhere.
Actually, I think the Pioneers are by far the better offense, but the Jolters maybe have the stronger defense, and that's what's slowed it down. Gary Lorenz out on the jam again, and Nick Scopus is out with him, but in between them is Joe Stafford, number 7 of the Jolters. Another one of their big guns. He gets away from a Scopus block, moves on Gary Lorenz now. Stafford moving on Lorenz. Grabs the lead with that block. Will he cut it off? No, he is going to try and jam. Scopus in hot pursuit now with Gary Lorenz behind him. Stafford moving on the back now. Cal Stevens blocking and Bob Hine back there, and his team blocking in there, and here comes Stafford. He's going to get 3, and he cuts it off. It is 3 points in there for Joe Stafford, and I don't know there, Ken. Somebody was sleeping at the switch a little bit, I think.
I don't know, Walt. Again, that's a case of the Pioneers on offense. They had the superiority. They had both jammers out, but defense in the pack was, for the Jolters, what set up their points for them again.
So the score goes to 8-4 now. The Jolters lead the Pioneers. Ken, why don't you pick up this next jam, see if you can break the ice here.
Okay, Walt, I noticed Bud Atkinson Sr. was up there on the rail briefly talking with a couple of players, trying to get the club going here. They're trailing by a 2-1 margin now. It's still early in the game, but against a club as big as the Jolters are, you can't drop too many points behind. Jammers moving up, and the Jolters have the man out, Charlie Gibson, and Johnny Rice for the Pioneers. Here's one of the 2 little guys for the Pioneers that can pick up the points. Rice moving on the inside. Through with an elbow. He has the lead on the play now. Knee block by Gibson, an elbow. And Rice is taken out. So the Jolters the advantage. Now Gibson had too much speed, lost a few strides, and Rice is catching up to him here. That could be a break for the Pioneers. Rice is still very much in this play. Ronnie Robinson on defense as Gibson is moving up. Robinson working with the elbow on the shoulder on Gibson. Now here comes Rice. He gets by on the inside. Rice is now the lead on the jam, going after Jerry Cattell. Robinson leads away. Cattell down. Rice in and calls it off. And 1 Pioneer point on the play, and we've been a long time waiting for that one, Walt.
Well, I'm glad I can't read lips, because I don't want to know what Jerry Cattell had to say when he was there on the track. He was saying something, though.
Well, Walt, that's again a case where teamwork can overcome size. That's what Buddy Atkinson wants for this team, and Rice certainly wouldn't have had that point without Ronnie Robinson to assist him.
8-5 is the score. The Jolters lead the Pioneers. 2:24 to go here in the second period of play. Don't forget, we'll have an interview at the end of the half. Probably talk about the big upcoming series in the Midwest between these 2 teams.
Okay, we've got another play underway here, Walt. The Jolters have both jammers out now. Mike Moore and JoJo Stafford. And Moore a rookie, Stafford about a 10-year veteran. And the Pioneers so far have got nobody moving on the play. Scopus and Lorenz are both held in the pack. And it's going to be all defense for the Pioneers here. Ronnie Robinson back to do the blocking. Pioneers have now broken Nick Scopus out on the jam. He's a long way behind. 2 Jolter jammers into it. Robinson a block on Moore. Goes to the inside, cuts off Stafford. Moore trying to move in. He can't make it. Stafford cut off. Ronnie Robinson gets Moore again. Follows with Stafford. Robinson holding him. Here comes Nick Scopus. Scopus trying to get the lead on the play. He's out number 2-1. He calls it off. As soon as he got the lead, he called it off. No score on that play.
Tell you, Ken, Nick was moving so fast that time, I think his long hair was standing out straight behind him.
He was a long way behind Walt, about 2/3 of a lap when he broke from the pack. It only took him about 10 seconds to get there.
Well, we have an 8-5 score yet. We have 1:10 to go here in the second period of play. Robinson decked there, trainer out there to check with him, make sure he's all right. Shaken up, but he'll be all right. He's a tough one. Ronnie Robinson, 58. Bob Hine, I assume will wear the pivot helmet. He is still wearing the pivot helmet. Big number 57. Larry Smith in there as a blocker. John Rice is a jammer. Bill Hill is a jammer. Here we go. Whipped out of there by Larry Smith is John Rice in the jam, and big Charlie Gibson in pursuit. Well, John Rice got a score to settle with this man. Beautiful move in there by Johnny Rice, and Gibson finds himself out on the cement floor. By the time he gets back on the track, he's at the rear of the pack. Jerry Cattell is back to the block, and John Rice is already in scoring position. 25 seconds left in this period. Jerry Cattell with the block in there. Nobody back there to help out John Rice now, but here comes Bob Hine on the jam. Bob Hine is pouring it on the pivot skater. He can also score. Bob Hine moving fast on Jerry Cattell. There he comes to the jump block. Rice goes by. Hine goes by. A point apiece. A great individual effort in there by Bob Hine, and it's 2 points for the Pioneers with 5 seconds to go in this period. I tell you one thing, these Jolters get the jammers out, but these Pioneers won't quit. That time Bob Hine started from way behind. He had the speed to get up there, catch the jammers. He moved in with the jump block. It paved the way for a point for him. It paved the way for a point for his jammer. So it was 2 points apiece in there on that play by the Pioneers. A great effort by Bob Hine, who wouldn't quit out there. They were also racing the clock on that play. Very few seconds left, but they did manage to pick up 2 points on the play. So that's the kind of a team that makes a champion. A team that will never quit. And when Buddy Atkinson Sr. coaches a club, believe me, they will not quit. Well, we're just about ready for the third period of play with the girls coming on the track. So the score here at the end of the second period is the Pioneers 7 and the Jolters 8. Walt Harris and Kenny Conselman here at the Oakland Coliseum Arena. It's a championship round game between the Pioneers and the Jolters, who are ready to move into the third period of play now with the score of the Jolters 8 and the Pioneers 7. These are the same two clubs and open the Midwest Tour. The Pioneers will be hosting this big, tough Jolter team. So here we go. Barbara Baker moving in the outside. Along with her, though, Rita Williams, number 50, and Candy Jones, 57 for the Pioneers. Pam Kaniva comes out of the pack for the Jolters. So there are 4 jammers moving on this play, 2 from each club. Baker blocking in there, and the 2 Pioneer jammers. Kaniva moving behind. I don't know whether she wants to try and take him down. She blocks him back, and Kaniva takes him down. That's a pretty good play, and I have to give him credit. Baker put him off balance. Kaniva finished the job, so all the jammers except for Baker are back in the pack, and here's Baker closing on the pack. Rita Williams caught back there right now with about 30 seconds of jamming time left. So once again, it's the Jolters with the only scoring threat going here. The Pioneers have nobody in scoring position. Baker decked in there by the jammer. Now she goes by Jan Vallow blocking in there. Jan Vallow big and tough. That's 2 points on the play for Baker. Moving now on Joni Weston. Weston with the block on Baker. Weston with another block in. The golden blonde out there. The queen. Joni Weston. Vallow trying to pull Baker around Weston. Weston ducks out from underneath and leaves the 2 girls spinning around, and down went Baker. But there were 2 points picked up on the play by the Jolters, and they lead now 10-7. Remember, the girls' field is going to be strengthened in this Pioneer club, as Buddy Atkinson Sr. has got the contract of Debbie Cho. Real fine skater. Ken, I think they're going to like her in Chicago.
Well, Walt, Debbie was with the team 2 seasons ago, and she showed an awful lot of promise then. In the last year with the Bay Bombers, she's really developed into one of the top defensive skaters in the league, and she's going to give Joan Weston, I think, the kind of backup in the pack that she's been looking for.
Good enough. Ken, why don't you call the next jam?
Okay, Pioneers look like they're going to have the pack open here. On the outside, Francine Koshu for the Pioneers. She does have the lead. She's got some heavy company, though. Rose Duran right behind her. Duran, the big point getter for the Jolters. Koshu goes to the inside, elbow block, battling for the lead here. These 2 going at it. Duran coming back to the inside. Koshu ducks a block, and Duran is off of the track. Francine Koshu, some fancy footwork that time. And the Pioneers, as a result, have the only jammer on the play. And Jan Vallow comes back there for the Jolters. Here comes Koshu in at the rear now. And a series of elbow blocks by Jan Vallow. Duran looks like she wants to get back there, about 20 seconds. Duran with a block comes back to put Koshu down. She's back up now. And elbow block, Duran puts it down again. Atkinson in there yelling at Koshu to keep moving, keep trying. She's got 2 Jolters to worry about here, Duran and Vallow, and time is running out. Back up, and there's the horn. No score on the play. Francine Koshu unable to get by both Jan Vallow and Rose Duran. That's like trying to outmaneuver 3 people on the track.
Weston clobbered there by Jan Vallow. I'll tell you one thing about Koshu, Ken. She's the kind of gal on skates that you'd pay to see, because she is tremendous out there. Has great moves. She might have not scored that time, but I always enjoy watching her skate.
Well, Walt, the main thing is she's the kind of skater that never gives up on a play. She's always back in there the second time. She really doesn't need Buddy Atkinson out there to encourage her. She'll try right up to the very last second of a play.
Well, he was encouraging that time. He was really working out running around that infield, but that's why he is a great coach. He puts everything he's got into it and a little extra every single time. That's why he's turned out many championship clubs.
That's right, Walt. Bud says he wants 100% out of his skaters, and he asks for another 20% just to make sure, and he usually gets it. Forming up for another play here. Jammers dropping back to the rear of the pack. Blockers in the middle, and we need a pivot up front for the Jolters. That'll be Barbara Baker now. The Jammers can start to move up. Pioneers trailing 10-7 on the scoreboard right now. Third period of action. And the Pioneers have got the jammer out on top, Candy Jones. Candy Jones, along with Francine Cochou, carry the load of the Pioneers' scoring effort in the women's field. So this could be a big play for the Pioneers. They have a secondary jammer out also, and that will be Rita Williams. Candy Jones, meanwhile, has caught the rear of the pack. And Barbara Baker doing the blocking. Jones running right back up, trying to get in. Tries the outside. Now here comes Rita Williams. Barbara Baker in with a block on her. About half a minute remaining, and Joan Weston gets back to assist. Weston trying to make a play here. Rita Williams and Candy Jones are both in scoring position. Jolters now a double block. Weston trying to lead her jammers in. Weaving in and out to the inside. Williams, Jones in, and they call it off. And they both got in for 2 points, a total of 4 points for the Pioneers on that play. Walt, probably their biggest play in the game. It puts them in front, 11-10.
That's the way to move. You take advantage of the fact that Jan Bello is in the penalty box. Jan Bello back on the track now for the next jam. And the Pioneers in front, 11-10 over the Jolters. Don't forget the interview at the end of the half. Also, don't forget your Pioneers are going to host this Jolter Club in their opening series. This big, tough Jolter team featuring Jan Bello, perhaps the toughest gal on skates. Barbara Baker, another great skater. The men's field, they're loaded in that. Lots of size, lots of beef, and lots of ability out there in that men's field. Going to be a tough series. Jammers trying to move out again. Bello up in front. Getting out first. Francine Cochou moving, number 55 for the Pioneers. Jan Bello after her. Clobbers with the block. Hits her with another one. Here comes Rose Duran for the Jolters on the play. Rose Duran gets the lead. Bello working on Cochou. And she decks her. Then getting by, moving away on the play. It was a jammer. Terry Lewis, 51 for the Pioneers. Bello over there on the rail. Penalty is called. Or no, point was scored in there. Bello blocking. Duran got the point, then immediately cut off the jam. That Bello was a one-woman gang on that play. She's tough, Ken, no matter how you look at it.
I'll tell you, Walt, Jan in the last season has really lost a lot of weight. And she's beginning to get back some of the speed that she had back closer to her rookie years when she was a jammer.
Hope she doesn't get any more speed back. Don't forget, if you'd like a game scheduled in your area, and it's non-political, non-commercial, it has to be a non-profit organization. If you have a gym or high school or college or an arena that seats more than 2,500 people, write to Bookings. Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California 94604. Requests like that have seen a lot of great benefit games skated around the country in many towns. Police Association, volunteer fire departments, March of Dimes. Just get in touch with Bookings. Barbara Baker on the jam. Being chased by Rita Williams. Coming up on the pack now. 4 minutes to go in the third period of play. Candy Jones goes down. Baker doing her own work out there that time, and it's a point for the Jolters, and they now lead the Pioneers again by the score of 12-11. They picked up one on the previous jam. Barbara Baker is really coming into her own with this Jolter club, Ken.
I think so, Walt. She's got, of course, a lot of history in the bank track behind her. Her father, Russ Rosie Baker, and her mother, Annis Red Jensen. So she's been around skates almost since she can ever remember.
Had a tremendous injury, had a back operation, and she's still come back. And she is really reaching the peak of her game now. Backs formed. Here we go with another play out of there first. Terry Lewis, 51 for the Pioneers, and Jan Bello takes off in pursuit for the Jolters. Look at that leg block in there. Then she showed the referee everything was okay. She waved what she thought was a teammate by, and it was Joni Weston, and Weston is really rocking Jan Bello now. Weston really walking her. Weston really mad now at Van Bello. Bello out on the floor. Terry Lewis jamming here for the Pioneers. Terry Lewis coming up on the pack. He might have scored 1 point, and Bello not getting back on the track in time. Baker blocking now, and Terry Lewis. That'll be the referee's decision because the skater has replaced Jan Bello, but I don't believe she replaced her in time. It could be a Pioneer point. That's a referee's decision. Baker blocking back there. Rose Duran up there. Jam cut off, though, by Terry Lewis. It is 1 Pioneer point on the play. And that ties up the score again at 12 all here. Trainer out there with Jan Vallow. She's still on the floor. She tangled with Weston, and that's a tough order for anybody. 12-12 is the score. 2:13 to go here in this period. Waiting to see if Vallow gets back up there. There comes Vallow back on the track. She gets a mixture of applause and a mixture of boos here, Ken.
Well, Walt, it doesn't make any difference what team you're skating for. When you get hit in an upright and off the track like that, the fans have respect for you.
We have 1:45 to go here in the third period of play. There's Vallow putting on the face mask. And here we go again with another jam. 12-12 is the score. Whipped out of there, Koshu by Joni Weston. Ortiz whipping out. Barbara Baker in pursuit for the Jolters now. So each team has a jammer out on the play. Koshu 55. Barbara Baker moving here. Look at there. Cam Geneva now in pursuit. And again, it's Koshu with some great skating out there on the bank track. Francine Koshu, born in Quebec, Canada. Moving on the play. Raised in Quebec, Canada. Buddy Sr. clapping his hands. She goes by. Word of encouragement. Jan Vallow there to block. You need encouragement when you're going to face this gal. Koshu is down. Weston decks Vallow. But Vallow gets up and stands in the way. A warning from the referee. I don't know if he's penalizing her or what. She's still out there blocking on Koshu, is down again. Here comes Barbara Baker on the jam. Baker has the lead on the jam now. Weston hits Vallow. Vallow into the arms of Baker, and Koshu goes by. That's a point for sure. And it is 1 point for the Pioneers as Koshu cuts off the jam. That breaks the tie again, makes it 13-12 with 35 seconds left to go here in the third period of play in the first half. A lot of stations will see the second half immediately. A lot of stations will see the second half next week, but you'll see this complete championship round game between the Pioneers and the Jolters.
Walt, Francine took a big gamble on that last jam. She started, she had the lead, but she was outnumbered 2-1. Instead of cutting it off, she took a gamble. She could outmaneuver those two Jolter jammers. She got away with it and picked up a point in a clutch situation for the Pioneers.
That's confidence.
That's what Buddy Atkinson said he's going to bring the club.
13-12 is the score. The Pioneers out in front. That is the end here. So now we're going to go into the fourth period of play with the men coming on the track with a tough battle with the gals out there. It's been tough since the opening period of play. Neither team been able to open up much room. The Jolters had the biggest lead so far in the game, but it's a relatively low scoring game. So the score here at the end of the third period of play is the Pioneers 13 and the Jolters 12. Walt Harrison, Kenny Consulman here at the Oakland Coliseum Arena. We're about ready to move into the fourth period of play here in the first half in the championship round game between the Jolters and the Pioneers. I might add that the Pioneer girls field is missing Sherry Eric, who's out with an injury. Very fine skater. Here we go. Who's going to get out of that pack first in the jam? Looks like Mike Moore. He gets whip number 4. He gets it from Cal Stevens, number 8. Bob Hine, 57. A blocker out front looking for a jammer. He says, somebody get up here. He can find a jammer. Jerry Cattell, Gibson, Stafford keeping the Pioneers from getting a jammer anywhere near the head of the pack. So the only man out and moving on the play is Mike Moore, number 4, moving here for the Jolters. He is the only threat. That means the Jolters entirely in the offense. They don't have to worry about defense. They trail by 1 point. There's Ronnie Robinson with the block back there. The great Ronnie Robinson, another block in there on Mike Moore. Here is Jerry Cattell, number 9 now back there to block. They're leading the charge. Mike Moore moving again. They're crisscrossing behind Ronnie Robinson. Remember, number 4 is the man that can score. Watch him. Cattell and Stafford, 4, 8, and 7, are just trying to confuse the issue back there. Robinson trying to keep an eye on the key man. Oh! Well, somebody zigged when they should have zagged. Stafford went down. Cattell tripped over the top. Mike Moore tripped over the top of him. Seems to have hurt his arm. And no points picked up in there by the Jolters. They had too much teamwork going and not enough cooperation, I guess, Ken.
Walt, if you said Jerry Cattell was trying to confuse the issue, I think he succeeded beyond his wildest dreams that time.
So that play didn't work, and the Jolters had a great opportunity to tie up the score to grab the lead. The score here is 13-12. The Pioneers lead. Remember, this is a championship round game. Two of the top teams you're looking at out there on the bank track. Pioneers in the red and the blue, the Jolters in the blue and the black, and here we go again. Bill Hill is out of there for the Pioneers, number 51. Out to challenge him, Ted Tauscher, number 3, moving for the Jolters. So each team is a jammer out on the play. And there goes Bill Hill. Ted Tauscher, number 3, grabs the lead here for the Jolters. Once again, they're controlling the jam. Bob Hine back to the block, the bald eagle, number 57. Bob Hine, block on Tauscher. Bill Hill coming up, 51 in the jam. Knee blocked by Hine and Tauscher. Bill Hill grabs the lead. He's hit with a block thrown by Cal Stevens, the muscle man. Stevens with another block in there by Stevens. Stevens, number 8, doing the blocking in there. Hard leg block in there by Stevens on Bill Hill. Bob Hine, hard block on Tauscher, puts him on the rail. But Bill Hill was dumped by Stevens, so Bob Hine couldn't help him score. Here comes Tauscher again. There's Bob Hine, 57, blocking. Back there to try and help with Cal Stevens, and he eliminated his own man, but then he puts a block on Bill Hill, puts him down also. 1, and that's it. No score on that jam. So it remains 13-12. The Pioneers lead the Jolters. 8:06 to go here in the 4th period of play in the first half. It's always interesting to watch the crowd and see what team they get behind when it's 2 visiting clubs. I'd say so far, from what I've heard, they definitely favor the Pioneers. Would this be the case if it was at the amphitheater?
Walt, I don't think there'd be any doubt who the home team would be in the amphitheater.
Oh, they let you know. Great fans in the Chicago and the Midwest area. They love their roller derby. Go ahead, Ken, call the jam. We got men moving on the play.
Okay, Pioneers the advantage here. Johnny Rice out, and so is Nick Scopus on this one. They got Charlie Gibson wedged in between. Gibson trying to get the lead here. If he could get the lead, he'd probably cut it off right now. Pioneers, 45 seconds left to go in this jam. Still pacing Gibson out there. Gibson, look out, Stafford back. And Stafford managing to take both Pioneers out. Gibson is still going. But Stafford could be in trouble. I believe he's in position to get scored over by those jammers. Gibson, meanwhile, is moving into the pack, and he's certainly in scoring position. He calls it off. 3 Jolter points on that play. Charlie Gibson scoring. And that puts the Jolters out in front, 15-13. Walt?
I tell you, Stafford risked life and limb on that block, but he pulled it off.
That's a clutch situation. I certainly wouldn't want to be the one to try and throw a jump block like that. If you miss, somebody hasn't got a head to work with anymore.
Well, that's for sure, but he did the job for 3 points for his club. They lead 15-13 now.
Okay, 6.5 minutes remaining here. 4th period, the last period in the first half of this championship round game. And the blocking is starting to get a little rough out there now. Ronnie Robinson and Jerry Cattell mixing it up in the pack. And Robinson gives Cattell just about all he wants. Cattell backing away from him. Jolters, meanwhile, have Charlie Gibson out on the jam again. I guess they figured he worked pretty good the last time out. They're going to go with him again. The Pioneers' Gary Lorenz trying to get to him. Blocking back at the rear of the pack as Robinson and Cattell again are going at it. About half a minute in the jam. Jolters a lead jammer right here. Charlie Gibson, Ronnie Robinson on defense. Block on Gibson now. Lorenz in the lead. He's blocked back by Cal Stevens. Block on Gibson. Series of blocks by Ronnie Robinson. Elbow in there by Cal Stevens on Gary Lorenz. Another knee block by Stevens. And Gibson put over the rail by Ronnie Robinson. Lorenz is railed by Cal Stevens. A little over 10 seconds. Robinson working on Cal Stevens. Here comes Gary Lorenz. Robinson on block. Stevens is down. Lorenz still going, trying for additional points. Blocked out by Stafford. And time beginning to run out. Lorenz still trying to get in there. He's railed, and the time of the jam runs out. And there is one important Pioneer point on that play. Gary Lorenz scoring over Cal Stevens, and Ronnie Robinson led the way for the point. 15-14 the score now. The Pioneers trailing by only 1.
And we have 5 minutes to go in this period. Get a lot of mail all the time, and I run into people all the time to say, I'd like to be a skier. How can I get into a training school? Well, it's very simple. You get the information. That's what you have to have first, and of course, that's what they're looking for. And here's how you can get the information. Just write to Roller Derby Training Centers, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. That's Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. Roller Derby Training Centers. You'll get the information on the training center near you. Right now, the Pioneers have 2 jammers out there in good position here. John Rice, 59. Nick Scopus, 54. Jerry Cattell whipped out of there by Mike Moore and Cal Stevens. Cattell, the big man, blast right through there. The 2 smaller men couldn't hold him off that time. They are blocking like that. They're not holding at the wrist, or you certainly could stop him, and you cannot hold. You have to just cross at the wrist, and Cattell, with the head of steam, was too big for him that time. But he's meeting Ronnie Robinson right now. 58 there blocking. There's the first block by Robinson. Robinson out of there, scored. Cal Stevens blocking in there. Cattell scored the point, cut off the jam immediately. Buddy Atkinson running immediately to Ronnie Robinson. He is always out there to help his skaters, give them advice if they're injured. Boy, he's the first man on the spot. 16-14, the Jolters lead the Pioneers. 3:45 to go here. At the end of this half, we're going to talk to Jerry Cattell. I think you'll be interested to see what this man has to say. And don't forget, your Pioneers are going to host this Jolters in their opening series. The opening series, Pioneers will host the Jolters.
Walt, again, the Jolters, just a tremendously physical club, as we could see there. Ronnie Robinson doesn't have the size to run into a brick wall like Cal Stevens. He's got to count on his speed to outmaneuver him.
Here we go with another jam out of the pack. It's Bill Hill moving 51 to the Pioneers with him. Ted Tauscher, number 3. And Jerry Cattell, the pivot skater, is coming out. He gets whipped from Tauscher, so it's Jerry Cattell. Here comes Bob Hine up as a blocker. He can't cut off the play. He can't score, but he can sure stop Jerry Cattell. Bob Hine, the bald eagle, 57 moving in. Jerry Cattell. He's overhauling him. He's almost alongside him right now. Tauscher, Bill Hill out in front. Jump block by Bob Hine, and he did the job he set out to do. Eliminated the competition. Bill Hill, 51, trying to score on Cal Stevens now, but that's a tough job. Stevens, number 8, big muscle man of the Jolters, hammering blocks into Bill Hill. Tail put back in the pack by Bob Hine, the bald eagle, never skated greater in his life than he is today. He's been around many years. Stevens blocking, could be illegal block. Dave Canella, referee, checking the blocking. Stevens breaks it loose, lays a knee block in there, Bill Hill. He's down, evidently it was legal. Robinson back there. Stevens says, don't bother me. He's waiting for Hill, and he goes back, puts a jump block into him. I think he's called for too far behind the pack. We'll wait and see what the referee has to say. Gary Lorenz grabbed by Cal Stevens and belted to the track. Could be a point and a penalty on the play. Atkinson Sr. takes a swing at JoJo Stafford. Couldn't find Stevens, swing at anybody nearby. And there we go. Ronnie Robinson getting in some clouts in there now. Ronnie Robinson and Stafford mixing it up. Cal Stevens down there. Grabs the referee, pulls him away. Buddy Atkins Sr. in there to make sure Cal Stevens doesn't interfere. Listen to the crowd. They're cheering Buddy Atkins Sr. They're cheering Ronnie Robinson. Well, 16-16 is the score. Well,
when Bud Atkinson says he'll fight for his team, he means it. He's in there every minute.
I admire him. I wouldn't come anywhere near Cal Stevens.
Not when he spots you twice the size and about half the years, too. But Buddy never gives up.
2.5 times a year.
2.5 times a year.
Cal Stevens has about 21 and 22, and Buddy admits to 58.
Well, he's been around this game since 1938, so you figure it from there.
Minute 04 to go here in this half. Jammer's trying to move out of the pack. It's a 16-16 score. Don't forget, we have an interview at the end of the half. Nick Scopus is out of there, and he's got company in big Charlie Gibson. So here we go again. Once again, it's size out there. Gibson working on Scopus. Scopus is down. Cattell is out there. Cattell is moving also on the play, so the Jolters have 2 jammers out. Now John Rice breaks away from the pack. He is moving. Penalty in the last jam on Cal Stevens and Ronnie Robinson, so each club down 1 skater, but the Jolters have 2 men in scoring position. Bob Hine there blocking with the pivot helmet, and Charlie Gibson. John Rice coming up fast, though. Jerry Cattell, who's in scoring position, will have to worry about him. 23 seconds left. Cattell's blocked out of there. John Rice moving. He's grabbed the lead on the jam now. He's moving. He's going to score. Bob Hine blocking. Blocking in there by Larry Smith. And it's 2 points. And Bob Hine and Stafford having a few words up here at this end of the track. Chris Ortiz, referee, gets in there. Buddy Atkinson to make sure things don't get out of line. Great play in there. Bob Hine doing some tremendous blocking along with Larry Smith for the Pioneers, and they grab the lead here. And we still got hot words over here on the rail. Dave Canella, referee in there. Chris Ortiz trying to make sure things don't get out of line. Don't forget, we have an interview coming up. A lot of stations see the second half immediately. A lot of stations see the second half next week. But whatever, you're going to see this complete championship game between the Jolters and the Pioneers. As I mentioned, we're going to talk to Jerry Cattell in just a few moments. What he's going to talk about, we don't know. We'll talk to him about the last half. We'll also talk to him about the big series coming up when the Jolters open against the Pioneers in the Midwest. The Pioneers hosting this team in their opening series, so look for it. It's going to be a great one. Well, the score here at the end of the first half is the Pioneers 17 and the Jolters 16. I have with me the big blonde tiger of the Jolters, Jerry Cattell. Jerry, a little surprised at the score here. This Pioneer Club is giving you a run for their money.
Well, I'll tell you, Walt, I'm not surprised a bit because the Pioneers, they have a seasoned club. They have a lot of veterans on the team. And now that they got Buddy Atkinson Sr. on the club, they're skating more dirty than they ever have been.
What do you mean dirtier than they ever have been?
Well, I mean, here's a guy, Atkinson Sr., he was with the Chiefs for a while. He made them into a law-breaking team, so to speak, or a rule-breaking team. Now he's come and gone with the Pioneers. He's done the same thing with them. And, roller derby was originated in Chicago. All the fans are going to have to come out there and watch a team that's going to break rules all the time. They just won't do it. They're no good.
You don't think they're going to appreciate the type of club that the Pioneers have turned into?
Absolutely not. Well, you can see it out there. Every time you turn around, they're breaking rules all over the track.
Well, there's the other opinion, too, that the Pioneers have just turned into a hustling club. They still follow the rules. They just hustle more now that Buddy's in there to guide them and to give them that inspiration.
Well, that's true. They are a hustling club. They've always been a hustling club. But as I say, the Pioneers were rough before. They skated pretty clean. But now when you got Atkinson out there, the things all changed around. He's going to disorganize that club. They won't know what they're doing out there.
Let me ask you this, Jerry. I had somebody come to me and say, hey, he said to me, I think Jerry Cattell's afraid of Ronnie Robinson. Is that true?
No, I'm not afraid of him. I respect the man, of course, but I'm not afraid of him. I've gotten into many fights with the guy. The guy's always picking on me, and I fight him. I fight him as legal as I can. I don't know how you fight legal. I fight him, and sometimes I win, sometimes he wins. There's no superiority over each of us.
Well, how do you look at the two clubs? You're a big physical team. Don't you think the Pioneers have more skating ability than your team?
Absolutely, yes. I have to admit that. There's no doubt in my mind, and no doubt probably in anybody's mind. All we have is two seasoned veterans, Cal Stevens, myself. We have Charles Gibson, who has skated spots. And the rest is rookies. Now, when you have a team like that, they're going to be a little slow. We're gelling slowly. We're getting together. We got a lot of speed burners, a lot of speed out there. All we have to do is get together, and we'll have a good team.
Think you can come back in this last half?
Well, we're going to try. We got a few tricks up our sleeve. We can try to get over this Pioneer team. They're pretty rough out there. We're going to try our best.
How about your opening series in the Midwest? Do you think you can be in shape to really take that one?
Oh, yeah, I think so. We're improving every day. And by the time we open up in the West, I think we'll have a respectable team out there.
Jerry, I want to say thanks for talking with us. It's a tough first half, and go out there and skate legal in the last half, right?
Good enough, Walt. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Jerry Cattell, who admits he gets in a few fights now and then. Certainly they have a big physical team. Jerry Cattell, JoJo Stafford, Cal Stevens, Charlie Gibson, it goes on and on. The Pioneers nowhere in their classes for size, but he's also the first one to admit that the Pioneers have more skating ability. So it should be a great last half and should be a great series in the Midwest when the Pioneers host this club to open their season. Walt Harris speaking for the Oakland Coliseum Arena in Oakland, California.